Hi, my name is Nicole Heinzelman, and I'm going to show you today how to use Ancestry Library, a product that is brought to you by our library, however, is a version of the Ancestry.com, a very popular product you've probably seen mentioned in magazines and TV. This has the same content, a couple things you can't not do though. You cannot upload your own family data. You cannot respond to any of the message boards, but you have access to them. You also can only use this here in the library. So the next time you stop in, you can use it for up to an hour and send any records home to you. You would use one of our public computers and go to our research page and click on Ancestry. And immediately on that black bar, you can see some menus that I'll be exploring a little bit more later on. Quickly, I wanted to share that the charts and forms screen is helpful because you can print some family trees to start your own work on that. The quick links box I'll be exploring later too, and there are the very popular U.S. Census records. We'll be seeing some of those. Very basic green begin button search takes us to this screen for our first search, our first exercise searching for someone named Emily Clancy, who we know, for instance, was born in France. Let's pretend we know that, and we're going to begin searching, and let's see what our page of results looks like. Do not be overwhelmed because we have categories that you can filter your results by. And when I say filter, I mean filter because there are over 24,000. I think the easiest way to narrow those results is first by moving these bars over to do an exact search for that particular name. Update it, and then you'll see, wow, that we have decreased them down to 2 results. So let's open that first one, which is from the U.S. Census, and right away we see it very neatly laid out, quick information. If we're happy with that, easy enough to just send that to us to yourself right away. You can view that at home later on if you're under time constraints, or if you want to take the time to explore it more, you can click on that green button to open the image. And they have very nicely highlighted his entry for you. If it's too small, you can always zoom in on your mouse, and there is also a bar on the right side where you can click on the plus or minus, and you can move the image around your screen so you can see those categories at the top. There's the option to save. Let's go back home and let's do another search. For this particular search, I want to show you that there is the capability to search for records by location. So again, begin searching, and we're going to scroll down. You can see that map there, the section for explore by location. So let's click on Europe, and I'll do that in just a second. There we go. And after clicking on Europe, I'm going to choose Ireland because I'm going to then want to click on see more about Ireland. Lots of information out there about Ireland, lots of records. So much more that I'm going to search for historical records for ancestors. And this is where I type in the name of John O'Shea. And I'm not even using an apostrophe. And in this exercise, let's say that I happen to know that he came over from, that he was born in Limerick. And I'm going to click on search. And I bet you can imagine that there are going to be a lot of records. Over 160,000. Wow. But that's okay. We can narrow this down. There's over 4,800 records in immigration and emigration. So I'm going to narrow those down just by clicking on update. And look, we only have 3 records for immigration and emigration. So let's click on the first one. And notice how there's not an apostrophe in that. So we'll click on that, and there's the information nicely laid out, including an image of the ship that he came over on. You can save that if you'd like. You can send that to yourself too. The next exercise is to show you how you can search for information about memories, about not only records of your ancestors, but any memories and histories that they may have been a part of. So for this instance, I'm going to home, and then I'm going to click on, let's see, what am I going to click on? in the quick links box, select stories, memories, and histories. And let's pretend that we have an ancestor who we know fought in the Battle of Gettysburg. So I'm going to type that in and very carefully click exact and then search. And if you wanted to know more about the Battle of Gettysburg, specifically memories from family histories, journals, and biographies, I could click on that. And then there would be the huge number of results that I could explore. So these are coming from family biographies and journals. All right, our next exercise is going to show you some other different resources, including oral histories and interviews. So in this case, let's pretend that we happen to know of someone who was a former slave who we're told may have given an interview. So let's type in the name Richard Martin. And also pretend that we happen to know that he had a spouse, a wife named Drusilla. Okay, and then I'll click on search. And as you can imagine, there are going to be a lot of records, but over 700,000. Not a big deal. We've got those bars at the top, and that's going to help us out immensely. Great. And remember I said I wanted to get information about interviews and oral history, so I'm going to click on those stories and memories, and then on the next screen, there it is, bingo, oral histories and interviews. There are 4 results. I can click on those. And great, there's the first one, so let's open that up. Interviews with former slaves. You can send the document, quick information, tells you where the interview occurred, click on the image, and there you go. You can easily zoom in, you can go from page to page, but there is where he appears, and I'm sure he appears on the next page too. One other record I wanted to show you for Richard Martin is his census record. So let's go back. Let's go back home. And let's type in his name again. I'm going to click on that begin searching. As you'll see, there are a number of ways to find information once you know somebody's name. But I'm taking you through different exercises so we can use the different tools here in Ancestry Library. So in this case, I am simply going to narrow the results down and update. And then click on the census and voter lists. And then if we scroll further down, what I want to do is open up the 1910 census, because we can find out what work he found once he was freed. And it turns out that he became a laborer. You can see that neatly laid out there, but we can view the record, and you'll see once we zoom in a little bit, it's highlighted. We'll zoom in and you can see laborer is there. This next search is of a more personal search for me. I was curious about my own family. My maternal grandfather came over from Mexico, and I wanted to see if I could find information about him, maybe his papers. So I'm going to begin searching, and we'll use a different tool here for this one, the immigration and travel under quick links. And then over there, narrow by category, I'm going to click on border crossings and passports. And his name was Jose Bombella, and Bombella, I was always told, was spelled with 2 L's. And I'll just click on male for gender. And as you can imagine, I was pleasantly amazed and happy to see a border crossing paper image for him. But look, it's spelled with 1 L. Just a good example how names change over time. And I'll click on that, and I will learn that he could read and he could write. It was one of the questions that he had to fill in when he came across the border back in 1916. He could read and write. Okay, so another tool I want to show you is how you can, if you know of a relative, friend, family, whatever, who had served during a time, an event that may have appeared in magazines, histories, etc. You can use Ancestry Library to learn more about that event. You can browse that way, or by clicking on that down there, or you can go back up to the top and type in the name of the person you're searching for. So in this exercise, I'll be looking for someone named George Blencoe with an E, who lived in Australia. I'm not even going to put a birth year or any more information than that. I'm going to click on Australia. And then I'm going to attempt to narrow the results, and as you'll see, I'll be having some issues with this search, but I'll get it. Hold on, bear with me. Let's see. I know one of these searches I was having issues moving that bar over. My mouse kept getting in the way. So let's see. Yep, this is it. But if you're like me, persevere, and you get to what you need to get to. So there I go. I click on update, and then on this screen, under the filter by, I'll choose newspapers and periodicals and click on the first one. His name appeared in the South Australia Government Gazette. And this particular result has always annoyed me in this class because these names are not listed alphabetically. As a librarian, that's very troubling. However, I was able to find his name, and there he is. But shame on them for not listing them alphabetically. Okay, so those are the basic searches I wanted to take you over. There are so many more bells and whistles, but I wanted to, let's go back and we can explore a couple of more things. There's a good example of how this can sometimes be a clunky site to use. I had to back out and open it all over again. The message boards, again, I mentioned at the beginning, you can read, but you cannot respond to. The Learning Center is chock full of helpful tips on how to get started with your search, how to read some of the records, and they do include videos. Also maps if you just want to start searching by state. The charts and forms I opened earlier, and any of them can be printed for you to work on. Any of them can be downloaded to print later on, etc., etc. The next thing I want to discuss is some searching tips, wildcards and truncations. Truncation and wildcard symbols, the asterisk. So let's say you're not quite sure how to spell somebody's name, or they may have had different spellings, like my grandfather. That's where the asterisk wildcard comes into play. For instance, if I type in the letters W-I-L-L and add that asterisk, it will bring back results including the names of William and Willie. You can also search alternate spellings with that asterisk symbol because it represents 0 to 5 unknown characters. Another example is searching for a last name. Let's say we're looking for Smeltzer, and in this case we're going to type in S-M-E-L asterisk symbol E-R, and that will result in names like Smeltzer, and spelled with an L-T-Z-E-R, and Smelzer, just spelled with an L-Z-E-R. Another type of wildcard is a question mark. It's a single character wildcard. This is helpful and for searching for many different ways a name can be spelled. Searching for Elizabeth, as we know, can be spelled many different ways. Let's start typing in E-L-I with a question mark, followed by A-B-E-T-H, and that will result in names spelled like Elizabeth or Elizabeth, or even Eliabeth. And I don't even know if that was a typo, but we got it because of that question mark wildcard. Let's see. Let's try that again. Let's combine both of those, the wildcard and the truncation. Let's type in E-L-I question mark A asterisk, and check out the number of results we get. Further down, we'll see Eliza, Elizabeth. I may not go through all of them, but I promise you that they were there. Back on the home screen, don't forget that quick links box is another great way to start your browsing. And if I click on begin searching, I want to show you the card catalog. The card catalog will show you all of the available data collections, and you can select a category, subcategory, or one specific collection to search or browse. So I wanted to mention that I went over a lot, but do not fear, there is an attachment or two that will help you learn more about this. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn this today. I will see you again later through one of these videos. Take care. Thank you.